The emanation of the Savior. The Logos which moved had the hope and the expectation of him who is exalted. As for those of the shadow, he separated himself from them in every way, since they fight against him, and are not at all humble before him. He was content with the beings of the thought. And as for the one who is set up in this way, and who is within the exalted boundary, remembering the one who is defective, the Logos brought him forth in an invisible way, among those who came into being according to the thought, according to the one who was with them, until the light shone upon him from above as a life-giver, the one who was begotten by the thought of brotherly love of the pre-existent Palermos. The stumbling, which happened to the eons of the Father, of the totalities who did not suffer, was brought to them, as if it were their own, in a careful and non-malicious and immensely sweet way. It was brought to the totality so that they might be instructed about the defect by the single one, from whom alone they all receive strength to eliminate the defects. The order which was his came into being from him who ran on high, and that which brought itself forth from him and from the entire perfection. The one who ran on high became for the one who was defective an intercessor with the emanation of the eons which had come into being in accord with the things which exist. When he prayed to them, they consented joyously and willingly, since they were in agreement, and with harmonious consent, to aid the defective one. They gathered together, asking the Father with beneficent intent that there be aid from above, from the Father, for his glory, since the defective one could not become perfect in any other way, unless it was the will of the Palermo of the Father, which he had drawn to himself, revealed and given to the defective one. Then from the harmony, in a joyous willingness, which had come into being, they brought forth the fruit, which was a begetting from the harmony, a unity, a possession of the totalities, revealing the countenance of the Father, of whom the eons thought as they gave glory and prayed for help for their brother, with the wish in which the Father counted himself with them. Thus it was willingly and gladly that they bring forth the fruit, and he made manifest the agreement of the revelation of his union with them, which is his beloved Son. But the Son in whom the totalities are pleased but himself on them as a garment, through which he gave perfection to the defective one, and gave confirmation to those who are perfect, the one who is properly called Savior, and the Redeemer, and the well-pleasing one, and the Beloved, the one to whom prayers have been offered, and the Christ, and the light of those appointed, in accordance with the ones from whom he was brought forth, since he has become the names of the positions which are given to him. Yet what other name may be applied to him except the Son, as we previously said, since he is the knowledge of the Father, whom he wanted them to know? Not only did the eons generate the countenance of the Father to whom they gave praise, which was written previously, but also they generated their own. For the eons who give glory generated their countenance and their face. They were produced as an army for him, as for a king, since the beings of the thought have a powerful fellowship and an intermingled harmony. They came forth in a multifaceted form, in order that the one to whom help was to be given might see those to whom he had prayed for help. He also sees the one who gave it to him. The fruit of the agreement with him, of which we previously spoke, is subject to the power of the totalities. For the Father has set the totalities within him, both the ones which pre-exist and the ones which are, and the ones which will be. He was capable of doing it. He revealed those he had placed within him. He did not give them when he entrusted them to him. He directed the organization of the universe according to the authority which was given him from the first and according to the power of the task. Thus he began and effected his revelation. The one in whom the Father is, and the one in whom the totalities are, was created before the one who lacks sight. He instructed him about those who searched for their sight, by means of the shining of that perfect light. He first perfected him in ineffable joy. He perfected him for himself as a perfect one, and he also gave him what is appropriate to each individual. For this is a determination of the first joy. And he sowed in him in an invisible way a word which is destined to be knowledge. And he gave him power to separate and cast out from himself those who are disobedient to him. Thus he made himself manifest to him. But to those who came into being because of him he revealed a form surpassing them. They acted in a hostile way toward one another. Suddenly he revealed himself to them, approaching them in a form of lightning. And in putting an end to the entanglement which they have with one another, he stopped it by the sudden revelation, which they were not informed about, did not expect, and did not know of. Because of this they were afraid and fell down, since they were not able to bear the appearance of the light which struck them. The one who appeared was an assault for the two orders. Just as the beings of thought had been given the name Little One, so they have a faint notion that they have the Exalted One. He exists before them, and they have sown within them an attitude of amazement at the Exalted One who will become manifest. Therefore they welcomed his revelation, and they worshipped him. They became convinced witnesses to him. They acknowledged the light which had come into being as one stronger than those who fought against him. The beings of the likeness, however, were exceedingly afraid, since they were not able to hear about him in the beginning, that there is a vision of this sort. Therefore they fell down to the pit of ignorance, which is called the outer darkness, and chaos, and Hades, and the abyss. He set up what was beneath the order of the beings of thought, as it was stronger than they. They were worthy of ruling over the unspeakable darkness, since it is theirs and is the lot which was assigned to them. He granted them that they, too, should be of use for the organization which was to come, to which he had been assigned them. There is a great difference between the revelation of the one who came into being to the one who was defective, and to those things which are to come into being because of him. For he revealed himself to him within him, since he is with him, is a fellow sufferer with him, gives him rest little by little, makes him grow, lifts him up, gives himself to him completely for enjoyment from a vision. But to those who fall outside he revealed himself quickly, and in a striking way, and he withdrew to himself suddenly, without having let them see him.